I posted on LinkedIn every day for 100 days, and here were the results. From a dormant account that barely got any traction to reaching over 600,000 people organically over the span of 100 days or so, this is practically unheard of. And if you're a coach, consultant, or agency owner and haven't tapped into B2B through LinkedIn, you're missing out on an opportunity. Let me explain. You see, back in 2021, I was largely unsatisfied with my job. I had a customer service job working 9 to 5 in corporate America, and it was brutal. Customer service can be pretty taxing, especially if and when it comes to claims servicing. Now, I won't get into the specifics there, but I knew I had to get out. So I jumped on LinkedIn and started sharing a bit about my journey. It was somewhat of an escape for me, but also too trying to grow my personal network. I connected with different directors and vice presidents within my company and organization, and unknowingly, some of them actually started getting invested into my content. I shared more about my journey, I shared more about my story, and that's really the crux in the beginning of personal branding on LinkedIn. Now, that same year, I landed a double promotion through my company by way of one of the vice presidents that I had connected there. But that's not why you're here. The reason is when you connect with decision makers and you connect with the right people intentionally, there are plenty of opportunities similar to that one on LinkedIn. Fast forward to 2023, I had launched a podcast agency. Basically what we did and what we still do to this day is we produce and distribute your podcast for results-driven purposes, meaning that if you're trying to acquire a client or generate leads, we structure your podcast episodes, video podcasts at that, in a way where they attract, retain, and nurture your potential prospects or leads or ideal clients, right? And so I knew that from a business perspective, the place that I wanted to be at wasn't on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. Rather, it was on LinkedIn. You see, there are plenty of small business owners, mid-sized business owners, and of course, huge enterprises that have a large dominance and presence on LinkedIn. Here are the stats. There are over 1 billion users on LinkedIn, and I believe around 1% of us actually post on the platform. So it's somewhat of a blue ocean. Diving deeper into demographics, 59% of users are between the age range of 25 and 34, 19 between the ages of 35 and 54. What does this mean for you? Well, depending on what side of the world you are in and depending on what industries you're in, this means that there are people with pockets that can pay for your services and they can pay you handsomely as well. So how do you get started on LinkedIn? It's not just about posting and ghosting or sharing your stories here and there. I mean, that's kind of what I started doing in the beginning, but I was wrong. Fast forward to this year when I started posting consistently every single day for 100 days, I learned a few things that I think can help you in growing your agency, your consulting or coaching offer on LinkedIn. The first thing is you have to learn the ecosystem of LinkedIn. When I first got into the world of social media marketing, I knew that every single platform had its own individual quirks and systems. At the beginning, Instagram was solely a picture platform. You would share your gram, right, instantly, and that's how you would gain traction. So it was more about pictures than it was about reels or threads or carousels or any of that. Definitely wasn't about stories. Later down the road, Instagram kind of lost its identity and started becoming a hodgepodge of Snapchat, TikTok, and other types of social medias. However, in the beginning, it was all about pictures. With Twitter, it was all about words. It was all about your copy. How well could you write? How well could you share insights? With Facebook, it was something similar to what is now LinkedIn, but in a less professional format. You would share pictures, you would tell stories. Later down the road, you would share videos, but more than that, it was about sharing your personal life and connecting with friends. With YouTube, it's always been about long form video. And long form video that performs relatively well over a longer time horizon are videos like this, where you share insights, you share tips, tricks, tactics, etc., strategies that are actually helpful and beneficial for your audiences. So let's get back on the topic of LinkedIn. When I first got into the ecosystem, I started kind of using it like a Facebook, sharing personal stories. I started posting and reposting some of my old Instagram videos, but nothing ever landed. It wasn't until I hired a coach that helped me navigate the actual ropes of LinkedIn. You see, LinkedIn has its own audience, and the very sophisticated audience at that. You can't just share what you shared on TikTok and Instagram and hope that it lands well. It's not going to work. You also can't just post and ghost. LinkedIn is very much a place of engagement. You have to spend diligent time day in and day out commenting, messaging, engaging with people on there. It really brings the whole social of social media at the forefront, which is great, but it's more than that. You have to have a strategy of posting consistently. Why? Because LinkedIn, knowing that it has 1 billion users, desperately wants creators that can actually create engaging content on the platform that will bring its users back over and over again. This is why it's investing so heavily on video. It thinks, predominantly it as in the company believes in video, and they know that video engages, converts, and builds trust faster than any other medium, but it hasn't quite found that right avenue for video. There are a lot of video creators currently moving and migrating over to LinkedIn using TikTok and skits and things that, in my personal opinion, just don't work. It falls flat. Yeah, may get the views, but it doesn't really quite get the engagement. And a lot of people had voiced concerns on LinkedIn, sharing that they don't want LinkedIn to be TikTokified. So I actually don't disagree with them. I think value-added content and value-added videos like these are far more beneficial than any short-form skit or, the TikTokification or trying to TikTokify LinkedIn. So the benefit to you as either someone who's trying to grow and scale your career or someone who's trying to grow and scale a business is that there are plenty of opportunities for you to do so on LinkedIn. It's about learning the format. It's about investing in the right people to learn the strategies. It's about creating groups and communities that will engage with your content continuously. It's about being consistent on the platform and delivering high-value content day in and day out. Now, the next step is this lays the foundation for what I call the LinkedIn social funnel. Now, what we're referring to is specifically distribution. Big players in the e-commerce space know exactly what I mean. Solving for distribution solves for probably 2/3 of your business needs, if not more. You're able to reach customers at scale and logistically fulfill on whatever it is that they need, want, and desire. I mean, look at Amazon. They've figured it out. So how do you do that as a solo creator, solopreneur, or someone who's launching and scaling a business? Well, growing your LinkedIn is obviously the first step, but you also want to invest in a secondary platform. Most people invest in email newsletters. And look, I have an email newsletter. I think that they're a great avenue to get people from the current existing LinkedIn platform into something that you own. But I also believe that you should bring people to a different ecosystem, a place where they can know, like, and trust you better. And that's through video. Even in my email newsletters, I still direct people over to my YouTube channel. Why? Because video works. Investing in YouTube and LinkedIn are the 1-2 punch, in my opinion, to growing and scaling a business, to growing and scaling your career. And frankly, doing both at the same time is not all that impossible. I've done it. There are multiple case studies of people who are currently leveraging LinkedIn and YouTube to grow 6 and 7, even 8-figure creator businesses to this day. Look at Matt Gray, Chris Donnelly, Lara Acosta. These 3 creators have not just leveraged LinkedIn, but are heavily investing in YouTube to grow their creator businesses and generating multiple 6, 7, and 8 figures with their businesses. This is the same strategy that I've used to land multiple 5-figure deals. I landed a $200,000 client in 2023 using this same strategy. And by the way, I'm a busy data forest, so I don't have a lot of time or energy, which is why I built for efficiency and effectiveness. If you want to get to know a little bit more about my system that leverages both YouTube and LinkedIn to generate consistent content, leads for my business with a healthy profit margin, go ahead and watch this video right here, and I'll see you on the next one.